I think we need a bigger yard.
A dog cutting?
If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight. New content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde keep on bringing the heat. Now they know that we driven, and they know we ain't quitting. Yoshi and the winner, keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know we got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Bring back learner, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma is karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 Clyde winners. Divine Winters, Clyde Winters, mind bender, Clyde Winters. I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde Winters. Give respect to the elder, Clyde Winters. I somebody out there looking for me. I told you somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me.
We have to live by heart. We have to live by heart. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not drank. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I have not wronged the I have not struck kill. I have not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about on the tongue. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against
Somebody out there looking for me.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no, no. I don't get a kick out of telling lies. Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no, no. Spend eyes. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Yeah, let the researcher do the research. Yeah, uniting truth and kill the lies. Let the researcher do the research. I'll learn to debunk my own craft. Respect is all that I have. Dr. Winters. I was sent here to finish my task, to become the greatest researcher, and that's who I am, Dr. Winters. Yeah, na 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 na. Let the research gotta tell it lies. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah. I spent years studying the tides. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah. Unite in truth and kill the lies. Be one, be one, be one. Be one to win this
We have to
fight.
always
We must
remain
unite.
black
Stand up
first.
for the righteous and let your skin shine bright. Be one.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? Hey, it is time for us growth. We have to grow. Thank you guys for joining me this afternoon for Black History Gems, because we're going to talk some Black history. And the reason that we're going to talk this Black history is because of the fact, in a sense, is that I want to share with you aspects of our history that nobody else talks about. Right, nobody else talks about. That video was done by Yoshimod the Genius, and Yoshimod the Genius, his videos at Yoshimod Gumroad.com. Go to yoshimod.gumroad.com, and you can pick up some of the videos. Genius. He is a genius. This young man is very creative. I thank him for all the videos that he's done for me, and he's done the introduction and other things. And I think it's important that we sometimes, in a sense, really give credit to those of us who are really shining and profiling. It's sad that there's a lot of black people who have various programs on the internet, and they don't never support anybody else. They don't never bring up anybody else. But I like to bring up those people, in a sense, who are doing the work. Today we're going to talk about in a sense, the role of women. Yes. We're going to talk about the role of women during the after the Civil War. We hear a lot all the time. We hear stuff about all these great black men and their contributions to the betterment of black people after the Civil War. But we rarely hear about the black women. Yes, the black women who are doing things to really highlight our history, doing things in a sense to let the world know that we deserve freedom and justice. And much of this failure to really know about what black women did in our history is maybe in a sense, part of it is the fact that history is usually patriarchal. We like to talk mainly about what men did in terms of history, but also we fail to talk about the role of black women in our history, because the fact, in a sense, is that nobody really wants to really talk about that subject. Nobody really wants to take the time to really explore the uniqueness of our history. Very few people, in a sense, really want to take the time to really elaborate those things that make us unique. Yes, we are unique people. We're the product of the Black Europeans. Black Aboriginals, and Sub-Saharan Africans who had an ethnogenesis. Yes, an ethnogenesis. And we became the foundational Black Americans who we are today. Yes, I say foundational Black Americans because we built this country. We made this country what it is. We created everything, the music, the art, the culture. Everything is from us, you know. We're the roots of this country, you know. We're the backbone of this country. Yes, yes, yes. Europeans could not create anything on their own. America is great today because we're here. If you notice around the world, people emulate our music, emulate our dress. Some people even try to emulate our speech, the intonation, and all that type of stuff. Because the fact is that even though many people may hate us as a people, even though many people as a people still, in a sense, look up to us. They still look up to foundational Black Americans as trendsetters. Yes, yes, yes. We're the people who set the trend. But anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. I'm going to hop right to the topic. And our topic is Black women and their fight for justice. You know, yes, yes, yes. It's very important to understand that after the Civil War, prominent Black women emerged as activists, fighting for justice and human rights for Black Americans. Yes, yes. These people are out there fighting for us. If you want to find out more about the history of Blacks in America, get my books, The World History of the Black Race. In this book, I discuss all the Black civilizations throughout the world. Get my book, The Phylogeography of Afro-Americans and Africans. In the Phylogeography of Afro-Americans and Africans, I discuss, in a sense, our genetic history. I explain why many of us carry the so-called Caucasian YR chromosome. You see, why many of us carry the R1 Y chromosome. And I explain in the sense that R1 is not really an indication of our Caucasian origin. R1 Y chromosome is an indication of our, in a sense, unique American heritage. Yes, yes, our unique American heritage. Because, you know, one of the earliest Anzac baby, who they did genetic testing on, they found that he carried the R1 haplogroup. And so those Black people today who are carrying R1, some of their ancestry goes back 10,000 years. Think about that. We've been on these shores in the West and North America for over 10,000 years. You know, that's something great. You can find out about Atlantis in Mexico. I discuss the Olmecs, African empires in ancient America. I discuss all aspects of all the Black empires. Yes, there were Black empires throughout the Americas in pre-Columbian times. And in my book, American, history, history in America from prehistory to 1877. In this particular book, I discuss our history, and you can understand about the three groups that made up America: our Aboriginal heritage, our Black European, and our African, Sub-Saharan African heritage. Get these books and learn more about our history. You can also get my books, Black History Gem Essays, and these volumes. They discuss many aspects of podcasts that I gave in 2021 through 2022. Check these books out so you can get important information about various Black civilizations that I discussed back in the day. And of course, I get my book, The World History of the Black Race and History of Blacks in America. If you want to know more about Black people in America, yes, yes, yes. If you want to know more about our unique history. What is FBA? FBA is not a group. FBA is a lineage. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestor, ancestral pedigree. Yes, yes, yes. As a result, we are descendants of the African, Black Europeans, and Aboriginal Blacks who built the United States. Yes, we built these United States. It's because of us, in the sense that we're able to build this American culture, build this American civilization. How you doing, David? And this is very important, because the fact is that we have to stop. We have to stop believing, in a sense, that our only role in the rise of American history is through the agency of Caucasians. No, We did our own history. We fought for our history and we made our own history. We are Aboriginal Black Indigenous people native to the United States. Foundational Black American ancestry is African. Foundational Black American heritage depended on the tribal origins and presence in the various states. Aboriginal FBA were the first slaves in the United States. Yes, yes. The first chattel slaves were not sub-Saharan Africans. The first chattel slaves were, in a sense, our Aboriginal ancestors. Identity matters. Terms used to make FBA invisible. Colored, minorities, African American. No. We decided to name ourselves. We decided that since we're native to this country, we call ourselves foundational Black Americans. Yes, because we're the foundations of this country. Over 200,000 FBA fought in the Civil War to free themselves. Yes, we were not given our freedom. That's a lie. They teach that FBA men were mainly porters and non-combatants. This is false. Over 200,000, yes, 200,000 Black men fought. You see, the North was about to lose. Yes, the North was about to lose the Civil War, but they were, in a sense, saved. Yes. America was saved because of the entry of foundational Black Americans who began to fight in the infantry ranks. It was a foundational Black Americans that never lost a battle. No, they never lost a battle. Well, it was a couple of times that we lost battles, but most of the time we won. And one of the reasons we won is that they had this policy that if Black people surrendered, they'd kill us. So I guess we knew that if we didn't fight to the last man, we were going to die anyway. FBA culture is American culture, food, the music, the language. Yes, everything. We love those tomatoes. We introduced this whole idea of beans, squash, tomatoes. These things came from us, collard greens, rice, chicken. These things we invented. We created this beautiful cuisine that today is had by everybody. Yes. American cuisine is based upon our taste. It's based upon our cultural influence. It's based upon the foods that we ate. Yes. And these are the foods that make America great today. FBA historical truths. FBA built America before and after Europeans came to the U.S. American technological superiority was made by Black people. Yes, Jan E. Matzinger. He invented, in a sense, the machine that made shoes. We had, in a sense, C.R. Peterson. Him and his sons, they invented some cars. Yes. And Charles Drew. He was a surgeon and professor who pioneered methods of storing blood plasma. And most importantly, one of our most important inventors was, in a sense, Otis Boykin. Otis Boykin is I think Otis Boykin. I think he should be credited as one of the most important inventors, Black inventors, in addition to Louis B. Lattimore and others who perfected the telephone, the light bulb, because it was Otis who invented, in a sense, the resistor. The resistor today is based, the resistor is used in just about every electronics. Yes. Just about every electronics needs this resistor. And it was Mr. Otis Boykin, who invented the resistor. And this is what makes many of the electronics that we live by today, exist. It was Marquis Dean. He invented, in a sense, and designed the first computer processor chip in the first computer. Yes. We made the computer viable. I'm able, and you're able to, to use a computer based upon the research of this brother, And then don't forget, in a sense, Henry T. Thomas. It was Henry T. Thomas who, in a sense, made the cellular phone. Yes. The cellular phone, those handheld computer, your iPhone, your Samsung. These things are based upon the research of Mr. Sampson. And it was Mr. Sampson who created the first cellular phones. And we live by these phones today. We go to the internet, we communicate. I mean, it is just so wonderful because you're able to be mobile. You're able, in a sense, to be able to communicate with people at any time, anywhere because of his research. FBA economic independence has always been obstructed by the dominant second frequency. Yes, they spent a lot of their time trying to destroy our economic base. They destroyed, Black Wall Street. There was the Rosewood Massacre. We had the riots of 1919. And, these things, in a sense, were put in place by Caucasians to be able, in a sense, to try to limit our progress and to be able to make us feel as though we were inferior and that we should stay in our place. But luckily, had armories, and many of these armories were in the inner cities, and as a result, white people could not kill. They couldn't murder as many black people as they wanted to because many of the black people had fought in World War One. And what they did is that they went to these local armories and they got guns and stuff, and they were able to protect the community to the best of their ability. Many people don't know that one of the reasons why we had, in a sense, the first bombing in the world in on Black Wall Street was because the fact is that the brothers had a machine gun. Yes, they had a machine gun, and this machine gun prevented whites from being able to really get into the Black Wall Street. So they sent a plane over and they dropped a bomb on them to try to knock them out, so that they could be able, in a sense, to get at those black people and kill them. But even though, in a sense, they did this, we've always still tried to fight. We've always, in a sense, tried to maintain a high level of sophistication and a high culture, And also, in a sense, it's very important to understand that many of us have Aboriginal origins, and the Mongoloid Indians today, although there's a lot of red men, many of these red men, they didn't come on the scene until hundreds of years after black people, thousands of years really, after black people already established themselves in the Americas. And although we see these red men as the Native Americans, no, the original Paleo-Americans, yes, the first Americans, dating back 10,000 years ago with black people like you, black people like me. No, black people like us. B1 is acknowledging your black African ancestry and Mott, not heritage. Foundational black American women played pivotal roles in advocating for education as a means of empowerment, believing that learning was essential for achieving equality and improving the social and economic status of Black Americans. Despite facing dual discrimination based on both race and gender, Black women played crucial roles in the civil rights movement after the Civil War by leveraging their resilience, leadership skills, and community networks. Here are some of the ways that Black women made significant contributions to foundational Black American society despite these challenges. Black women used churches, social clubs, and mutual aid societies as hubs for organizing and mobilizing support for the Black community. These spaces provided a safe environment to discuss strategies, share information, and create programs that advance the civil rights efforts of foundational Black Americans. Leadership in local organizations, women like Mary Church Terrell and Josephine St. Pierre Ruffin founded and led organizations such as the National Association of Colored Women and gender equality, focusing on issues like education, voting rights, and especially anti-lynching. Yes. It was very popular back in the day that whenever white people had a celebration, they would kidnap some black person, usually in the sense a black person who just happened to be alone. They would kidnap them and they would usually, in a sense, lynch them, sometimes barbecue them, because they felt that this was how they should celebrate their holidays. And they felt the best way to celebrate their holidays was to murder an innocent black person. Mary Church Terrell, one of the first African-American women to earn a college degree. Terrell was a suffragist and civil rights activist. She co-founded the National Association of Colored Women, the NACW, and later helped establish the NAACP. And the NAACP was a very important organization at the turn of the 19th into the 20th century, in terms of Black people being able to advocate for their own security, advocating for their own rights. You see, this is very important. You see, many people like to believe that Black people were just waiting for somebody to hand them their rights, waiting for somebody to just say, "Hey, you Black folk, I'm going to give you an opportunity." No, we went out and we fought to get these opportunities. And our women fought to get these opportunities for us also. Black women like Nannie Helen Burroughs, Lucy Craft Laney, and Mary McLuhan Bethune established schools and training institutes that equip Black youth with knowledge and skills fostering a generation of empowered leaders who would continue the fight for equality. Black women provided literacy and citizen classes. Women like Septima Poinsett Clark played a pivotal role in helping African Americans navigate discriminatory voting laws, making them informed and active participants in the political process. Yes, yes, yes. Early we recognized that through voting, we can impact our local communities. That's why I would never tell anyone to avoid voting in their local communities. You may not really, in a sense, want to participate in maybe national elections, and because I mean, presidents, they're okay, but they're kind of distant, and often they don't have anything that they're offering Black people. But your local school board, your mayors, your aldermen, these people, your state representatives, your governor, these people who are involved in your local community, you should also always be active in voting and active in a sense, ensuring that you're able to let's say encourage your local representatives to represent you. Figures such as Ida B. Wells Barnett used journalism to shed light on racial violence, such as lynching. The power of the press, Black women like Ida B. Wells were able to reach wider audiences and draw national attention to civil rights issues. Yes, yes, yes. Black women like Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, they toured the country giving speeches that advocated for racial and gender equality, often connecting with both Black and white audiences to garner broader support. Yes, yes, yes. Black women activism often combined the fight for racial justice with the push for women's rights, yes, highlighting how the unique experience as Black women intersected the fight for justice and women's rights. This approach led the groundwork for later movements that would focus on intersectionality. Yes, yes, yes. Black women have been in the forefront of fighting for our rights. You see, don't get it twisted and feel that it's only been Black men that have been trying, in a sense, to ensure that we're respected. There's only been Black men that have tried, in a sense, to make sure that foundational Black Americans are recognized for their humanity. But also our women, yes, our women have been forceful spokesmen and workers to ensure that we get all the justice and rights that are important to our movement. Although Black women often face racism within the mainstream suffragette movement, they still advocated for their right to vote and linked it to racial empowerment. Activists like Sojourner Truth and Mary Church Terrell campaigned for suffrage as a means to elevate their communities. Yes, they saw in suffrage or voting the ability to be able, in a sense, to influence your local community. Don't ever get it twisted. You should always stay engaged in voting in your local community, because it's your local community that's going to have the most important impact on you. And so then, therefore, you should encourage, in a sense, your children, and you yourself should get out there and vote and make sure, in a sense, that you get the proper local representation that represents you instead of, in a sense, some outsiders. Black women in the post-Civil War era actively worked to combat negative stereotypes imposed by racist and sexist society. They redefined what it meant to be a Black woman, presenting themselves as educated, morally upright, and capable leaders. Through public presence in parades, conferences, and protests, Black women showed that they were active agents of change, not just supporters of male leaders. Yes, yes, yes. We have always tried to be hand in hand, Black men, Black women, in fighting for our rights and demanding justice for all. Black women often raised funds and created mutual aid societies to support civil rights causes, families, and provide resources for those affected by racial violence or discrimination. Leaders like Nannie Helen Burroughs founded institutions that provided Black women with vocational skills, leading to greater economic independence and the ability to contribute more effectively to civil rights activism. Yes, yes, yes. You have to look at it from this perspective, is that often once Black people left the plantation, it was very hard. Yes, it was very hard for Black men to really find any employment in the cities but often, in a sense, there was many opportunities for Black women to, especially be nurses for rich families, maybe cooks, servants, things like that. So often, in a sense, when Black people moved off the plantations into the urban areas, most of the opportunities were not for Black men, even though a lot of people get it twisted and they feel that Black men have always been the dominant group. Get out of here. No, no. Things have always been kind of set up in America where Black women have had a little bit more in the sense that they had, just tons and tons of opportunity. But what it does mean is that sometimes Black women had opportunities to be progressive and they had opportunities to find employment faster than maybe their male counterpart. Yes, yes. They could be engaged in many things, cooking, sewing, in the education fields. And so women had many opportunities. Black women had many opportunities often to be able to find employment. This allowed them sometimes to be able to support their families and be able, in a sense, to gain the necessary resources. Yes, yes, the necessary monies to better themselves and better their families, you see. Despite being marginalized within broader social movements, Black women often form their own groups and movements to ensure that their voices were heard and their issues were addressed. Black women acted as mediators and unifying figures within their communities, advocating for peace and stability while pushing for systemic change. Yes, 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 yes. Black women have been always out there fighting. Through their advocacy, organizational skills, and relentless pursuit of justice, Black women after the Civil War played an indispensable role in the struggle for civil rights. Their work laid the foundation for future civil rights movements, proving that even in the face of discrimination, they were powerful leaders and change makers. Here you can see some young ladies around the turn of the 20th century, late 19th century. Ida B. Wells Barnett was a journalist and advocate. She was, in a sense, a great fighter for the rights of women. Sojourner Truth, although best known for her work before and during the Civil War, she continued her activism afterwards, advocating for the rights of freedmen and women's suffrage. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper was a writer, a poet, and speaker. Harper was an abolitionist and suffragist who continued advocating for civil rights after the Civil War, emphasizing education, temperance, and racial equality. Temperance was an important issue because it was sad, but often a lot of men they would go out and get drunk, and then when they would get drunk, they would be very violent, sometimes with their wives and children. So it was one of the major themes was to get people to avoid to avoid drinking, and be in a sense because often when people would engage, men would engage in drinking, they would also in a sense engage sometime in abusing their families. Anna Julia Cooper, an educator, author, and scholar. Cooper wrote A Voice from the South. This is considered one of the first articulations of Black feminism. She advocated for the upliftment of women through education and civil rights. That was Anna Julia Cooper. Harriet Tubman, known primarily for her role in the Underground Railroad before the Civil War, Tubman continued to be active after the war, working for the rights of elderly and disabled and promoting suffrage. Charlotte Fortin Grimke, a teacher and writer, she worked to educate newly freed African Americans and was involved in the women's movement. Charlotte, in a sense, was also involved in the abolitionist movement, so she was always fighting, in a sense, for black men and women to be free and given their rights and recognized. Fannie Berrier Williams was an educator and club woman. Williams was a strong advocate for racial justice and gender equality. She worked with the National League of Colored Women and promoted the inclusion of Black women in the broader women's suffragette movement. Josephine St. Pierre Ruffin, an advocate for suffrage and civil rights. Ruffin was a founding member of the NACW, and used her publication, The Woman's Era, to promote civil rights and women's issues. Yes, yes. Black women have always been out there. They've always been out there in a sense advocating. These women, in a sense, are angels. Yes, yes, yes. Black women are angels because black women, in a sense, were out there fighting to empower us. They were fighting, in a sense, to make sure that they could take care of their families. They were fighting, in a sense, to be able to allow us to progress and be able to support ourselves. This is very important, you see. This is very important. We sometimes forget the important role as of black women as our angels. It was the black women, in a sense, who allowed us to move into urban areas and be able, in a sense, to find employment and get a foothold in those urban areas. On the plantation, yeah, the man, in a sense, had a little bit more power because the man could take his family and they could go and maybe do some sharecropping. And often, in a sense, the farmer would interact with the man because the man would have, in a sense, control over his children and his wife's behavior in terms of maybe working on somebody's property. But it was in the cities where women played a very important role because it was in the cities where women had a great amount of, in a sense, independence, and where women, in a sense, were able to find job opportunities that were more available for black women than for black men. Mary Bethune was an educated and civil rights leader. Bethune founded the Daytona Educational and Industrial Training School for Negro girls. Became Bethune Cookman University. She was a staunch advocate for African American education and served as an advisor to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Anna Julia Cooper, known for her seminal work, A Voice from the South, Cooper was a fierce advocate for the education of African Americans and particularly black women. She believed that education was a path to empowerment and equality. Yes, yes, yes. Lucy Crabb Laney was a pioneer and educator. Laney founded the Haynes Normal and Industrial Institute in Augusta, Georgia, which was dedicated to the education and upliftment of black children. She was known for her belief that education was key to social progress. Yes, and black people have seen education as a key to social progress. But we find, in a sense, that when we look back, though, we find that the most innovative leader of the early 20th century had to be Booker T. Washington, because it was Booker T. Washington who advocated, in a sense, that we should be tradesmen. We should, in a sense, be tradesmen so that we could have our own businesses and establish our own individual opportunities. And this was a dynamic attitude, for black people, in the sense that you could, in a sense, be innovative, and you could use your own entrepreneurial spirit to be able to become a success. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, in addition to her work as a writer and speaker, Harper emphasized education as a cornerstone for the advancement of black people. She lectured extensively on the importance of literacy and education for newly freed people. Yes, yes, yes. She understood, in the sense, that it was education that could help us break the chains of illiteracy. It was education that could allow us to be able to find freedom, and not just find freedom, but hope. Hope. Hope, family, is a very important commodity because it's hope that allows you to feel that if I work hard, if I really do my best, I'm going to be a success. All I got to do is just be engaged. Yes, yes. All you have to do is be engaged and decide that you're going to do everything possible to make yourself a success. So this meant, in a sense, that if you wanted to be a success, you had to work at it. And this is what these women did. Nanine Helen Burroughs, again, in a sense, she was an educator and activist, founded the National Training School for Women and Girls in Washington, D.C. She believed in providing vocational and academic education to help black women achieve economic independence. When I was in school, they would always talk about the Booker T. Washington and W.B. Du Bois debate, and they would always want us, in a sense, to prefer, W.B. Du Bois, because W.B. Du Bois advocated go to college, become the talented 10th. But as I became older, and it was really Booker T. Washington who had the best ideas for black progress, because it was Booker T. Washington who advocated that black people should learn a skill. And by learning a skill, you not only, in a sense, could be a productive member of the community, but you could also, in a sense, with a skill, be able to open your own businesses down the road. So I think the Booker T. Washington to me was very important in terms of our growth and development. Mary Church Terrell, an educator and early civil rights activist. Terrell was one of the first African American women to earn a college degree and work to promote educational opportunities for Black Americans. She was a founding member of the National Association of Colored Women and served as its first president. Yes, yes, yes. You have to think about, when we're thinking about lifting each other up, and by climbing up and by doing everything we could to be successful, then therefore, in a sense, our women were out there fighting. Stop believing in a sense. They want you to think about Black women as just being floozies, and Black women always having to be a lower class, and that Black women, in a sense, didn't really try to promote themselves. That's a lie. It's not to say in the sense that they were just selfish, but we have to look at the fact that our women were out there fighting just like our Black men to be successful, just like our Black men to create a society in which we could all grow and be fruitful. Fannie Jackson Coppin, she was a teacher, and she in a sense had the Institute for Colored Youth, now Cheney University, and she was a very important educator. Septima Poinsett Clark, known as the mother of the civil rights movement. Clark was a teacher and education advocate who worked tirelessly to provide literacy and citizenship education to African Americans in the South. Yes, yes, yes. Through their advocacy, organizational skills, and relentless pursuit of justice. Black women after the Civil War played an indispensable role in the struggle for civil rights. Their work led the foundation for future civil rights movement, providing that even in the face of discrimination, they were powerful leaders and change makers. Yes, yes, yes. Despite facing dual discrimination based on both race and gender, Black women played a crucial role in the civil rights movement after the Civil War by leveraging their resilience, leadership skills, and community networks. Through their advocacy, organizational skills, and relentless pursuit of justice, Black women after the Civil War played an indispensable role in the struggle for civil rights. Their work laid the foundation for future civil rights movements, proving that even in the face of discrimination, they were powerful leaders and change makers. Yes, yes, yes. If you want to find out more about our history, get my books, The World History of the Black Race, which is an overview of Black civilizations throughout the world. Get my book, The Phylogeography of Afro-Americans and Africans. In this book, yes, in the phylogeography of Afro-Americans and Africans, you'll for the first time be able to understand what role genetics plays in our history and what is our genetic profiles. You see, you get these profiles and they say, oh, you got part European, part this, part that. Get this book, The Phylogeography of Afro-Americans, so you'll really understand what role genetics can play in understanding our history. Get my book, Atlantis in Mexico. You can learn more about the Olmec people. And of course, my book, African Empires in Ancient America, I discuss all of the great empires in pre-colonial America. And in my book, Americans, the Black history in America from prehistory to 1877, that book will tell you everything you need to know about our history, our culture, and our civilization. Get these books, learn who and what we are, and be able to move forward, because it's time we stop ignoring the reality of our greatness. It's time we stop ignoring the important role we play in the rise of civilization. Tonight, I wanted to talk to you about the Black women, the role of Black women after the Civil War. This is one of the most neglected areas. Yes, this is one of the most neglected areas, you see, of our in a sense history. Because see, the thing is that it's a neglected area because the fact is that many people don't really understand, in a sense, the important role that Black women played in developing our great civilization over here, you see. But this is just a sample. I wanted to do this, and hopefully somebody out there will take up the research effort, and they'll go out and they'll do some of the research themselves, and they can even find even more and greater information than I've been able to present. Because see, it's very important that we understand it's only through research. It's only through, in a sense, seeking the truth that we'll know who and what we are. And this is why it's very important, in a sense, to be researchers and go out and try to learn more and more about our history. Again, in a sense, I hope that you'll buy some of my books and support my research. For example, get my book Atlantis and Mexico.
Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. When is the last time you spent bread on a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Create animation from a book. Atlantis in Mexico. Atlantis in Mexico. Mexico. Time travel in a book. Go far in a book. Can you remember from a book? Knowledge given in a book. Benefit from a book. Create a movie from a book. Just don't forget to give thanks to the author of the book. Thanks. Black Neanderthals and the white race. Origin Black Neanderthals and the white.
Free your mind, let it, free your mind, let it go to the top, drop it to the floor. Hey, energy, coming like whoa, spring water, let it go. Free your mind, let it go. Tap in, go, let it nigga know. Hey, let it nigga know, let it nigga know. Energy, coming like whoa, spring water, let it grow. Free your mind, let it go to the top, drop it to the floor. Energy, coming like whoa, tap in, go, let it nigga know. Hey, she told me go and put it in her heart. I told her I don't wanna break it all apart. Let me be a night light in the dark. Hey, my nigga shine bright with the art. Gemini 2-time, know it's hard. Got the stars on the line with the charts. Big dog, so I gotta leave a mark. Free your mind, cause I'm not that smart. Hey, energy, coming like whoa, spring water, how did that grow? Free your mind, let it go to the top, drop it to the floor. Hey, energy, coming like whoa, spring water, how did that grow? Free your mind, let it go. Tap in, go, let it nigga know. Hey, let it nigga know.
gentle learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Buy my latest book, History and Culture of Black Aboriginals in America. This is the first book that explains and discusses the entire history of how the original people who lived in the America were Black Aboriginals. These Black Aboriginals lived in many different tribes. They built stone pyramids. They built great cities. They built underwater bridges that linked both sides of the Mississippi River. Buy this book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals. Find out how many of us, most of us, just about all of us, who are blacks, native to America, have Aboriginal ancestors. Get this book. Learn about our history. Learn about our culture.
Parents, looking for a story that would not only captivate your little one's imagination, but would also teach valuable lessons. The Bloom, bedtime story for the young at heart, takes your child on a magical journey to ancient Kemet, where the goddess Sister Andito brings life, love, and healing. Through this enchanting tale, your child will learn the importance of nature, compassion, and positivity, all while discovering the rich history of Kemet. It's a story that inspires self-mastery and love for the world around them, making it the perfect bedtime read for little dreamers. Available on Amazon now, The Bloom not only nurtures young minds, but also supports the FBA community. Grab your copy right now and give your child the gift of adventure of learning. Order The Bloom today on Amazon. Thank you. Hotel.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4 Just Us. That's JUSTICE, 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the research. Dr. Clyde Winters, let him do the research. We need more researchers like Dr. Clyde Winters. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, we don't understand that it takes people who want to do research to be able, in a sense, to tell us our history. Yes, many people have taken my course, The Afrocentric Researcher. You can take it too. All you got to do is join. But if you don't, in a sense, join, understand that it's through your hard work, through your persistence, that you can become a researcher. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the researcher. You know what? I've written some books that can help you to be a researcher. Those books are Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentric Studies. Yes, yes, this book is an important book. It'll help you learn all about your history. My other book is Afrocentric Researcher by Dr. Clyde Winters. This book, in a sense, is the most important book that you will find. What makes this book important is that the Afrocentric Researcher provides you with a course, yes, provides you with a course outline that tells you all the things you do to be a great researcher. Yes, get these books. get these books, The Afrocentric Researcher, and in a sense, get my book, Pathfinder. These books are the books you need to be successful, the books that will make you a great researcher. Get these books, but let the researcher do the research, but you can be the researcher too. The only thing that can save you is be one, be one, be one. To fight Cage, you must stay black first.